I don't really want to be intrusive. When I was writing this question for you, I thought I don't really want to be intrusive and ask you, why did you quit Shikha? But it will benefit this discussion tremendously if you can share your perspective and also the other perspectives which you can really throw some light into, because you've been an HR professional yourself, you've been a HR business partner, and most importantly, you managed a return to work program for an organization where you were interfacing both the outside world, which is the candidates, as well as the internal stakeholders. Over to you.
Firstly, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think when you get out of work, a big part of you kind of gets away from you, which is your identity professionally. So when you're invited for a forum like this, that professional identity gets back kicked in, and it's really delightful. So thank you for that. One of the things I wrote on my LinkedIn when I was posting this event was that the first step to accepting that there are biases and then trying to break them is to be honest with yourself and to be honestly having that communication with the outside world. Many times that honesty can come across as being brash or aggressive or rude. But when you're honest and you start talking about the issues, you do something about them. Where I actually have taken twice over breaks in my career. And both times it's been to balance my professional and my personal life. Many times failing at that balance and therefore saying, you know what, I'm going to take a break because I have the confidence that I can come back from that break. In 2021, the reason I took the break is because COVID hit us and I have two toddlers at home, both of whom had to do online studies, could not navigate the computer themselves. So all I could do for the entire year of 2020 was run between 3 laptops, my own and then 2 others. And I could see that nobody was benefiting. I was suffering at work because I was working insane hours to try and catch up. My kids were suffering, especially the one who was going to nursery, starting off his education online. And so I took the decision to take a break. And it's strange that I did that because I had just come back from a break when I had gone to United Kingdom, had my 2 babies, both in very quick succession. So again, taken a break because I had to look after them in the UK without any help. So I think coming to your question, it's not really very personal to me. I think it's a challenge that so many of my friends are facing, so many of my colleagues are facing. COVID brought that bias so much into our face that many women like me didn't have the opportunity to take the decision, but the few that did just said, you know what, I'll pack up the laptop at work, focus on the children, and when and if COVID settles down, I'll relook at my life. And so I think that's what really happened with me. Why I say that the biases came up startlingly in front of me was because when I was at home and the laptop wasn't working, and my husband and I were both on calls, my kids just thought it was okay to come and tell me that their laptop wasn't working. Mama, come and fix it. They just did not instinctively disturb their father for that, the laptop to be back on. And therein lies, the reality that we're all in this environment where consciously or subconsciously, the biases just start coming around from the ecosystem. And does quitting a job and looking after the family help the biases? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But it just gave me a moment to say, at this time, at this point, my family is more important. And when COVID settles down, which it has, so I'm back to looking for a job. So, that's the circle of life. To be honest, the biases really start from the fact that when the CV lands up on the table, the first point is from the hiring manager, but this person hasn't worked for 5 years. The industry has moved forward. How are we going to integrate this person? So that's the first question that comes up. Then the second question and the second issue that happens is, especially in a market like India where talent is abundant, talent is cheap, and talent is available, the question comes, oh, but you know what? I can find someone who's already working to do this job. So then, the real responsibility lies with the organization and the leadership in the organization to say that, for some period of time, we're going to put this point important for everybody, that certain roles, certain jobs, certain areas will focus on getting people back to the workforce. And so the biases can only be dealt with communication and can only be dealt with collaboration. And that's what we did. So the biases we faced, we broke them down by communicating with the managers, by also communicating with the outside world, and by equipping people on both sides with the tools to be able to integrate. So the people who were returning back had programs that they attended for a period of 6 months to get them back into the workforce, because that's a challenge all by itself, and that's a different discussion altogether. And the managers were also going through programs where we were sensitizing them that it's not about gender, it's about returning back to work. And that could be any gender, and that could be any strata and any community. So it's just sensitizing yourself that this person has not been in work for a few years. It's a different ball game. It's a different life space. So how can we support that person? The program was successful. You partnered with us and we got few people on board. And some of them are still working with the organization. So I think that's how we worked through the entire process.